Hey folks, this is Adrian at 18 Echo SF. I thought I would just make a little video today while I was in the process of cleaning my Glock 19 and talk a little bit more about the cleaning materials, mostly the lubricants, that I use to clean my gun and lubricate it, and it's just kind of a a normal thing that all of us do, of course. But I think probably all of us, we take the recommendations of other people to do stuff. And I normally only take the recommendations of, people that I either know or am well familiar with, in the industry. And Frank Proctor is one of those people. By the way, while I'm talking, I'm just using Rand CLP. As I mentioned before, I use it for all my cleaning purposes. Anyway, Frank, who is former Special Forces, as I was, we served at different times, and he's a lot younger than me, so we were in two different eras in SF. And But Frank is a great shooter. He's really developing his company Way of the Gun for lots of different things. Not only the sights, as you know, I already discussed all of that when I used his Y-notch sights on this gun, actually. But they were just not good enough for my eyes. I know for everybody else who is a decent shooter or who uses glasses, prescription glasses when they shoot, the sights would be fantastic. I do not. I only use I only use glasses for reading purposes. And let me get some of this stuff out of the way. And there we go. But Frank's business, Way of the Gun, he's now doing some slide modifications, which I'm actually thinking of doing. These Glocks, they have no serrations in the front of the slide, and I tend to manipulate the gun like this when I'm doing press checks or dropping the slide and coming back to shoot. Or I do press checks from here. And, these slides are pretty slick. So having some notches here, I think would be, very, very helpful. And, Frank's company is now doing that. They have a number of different cuts. And some of them I like, some of them, for me, they're just not quite what I'm looking for. But they do have one that I, really like a lot. And I'm thinking of just having that done to put those notches on the front. Well, anyway, so back to Frank for a bit. So, I really respect his opinion. Of course, I highly respect him as a shooter and a warrior. But I'm going to tell you, all of his recommendations, from a drop offset attachment for, one of my holsters, to training suggestions in general, have really been, spot on. And because of that, Frank had recommended a lubricant that he's been using, I think, for the better part of a year now. Let me get this out of the way. And it's called Lucas Extreme Duty Gun Oil. And it comes in a nice little small needle oiler as well, which I didn't even have a needle oiler, so I thought, well, that would be really nice, to have. I had bought some lube called Gun Butter at the Glock store, which is in San Diego, and where I live. And the problem was it had like a kind of a needle oiler, but the stuff kind of congealed, and then I couldn't get it out, which was really kind of a royal pain in the rear end. So I went back to my my go-to stuff, which is Wilson Combat, and I just have been using that. But, I do like, trying, new items. I think it's in our nature as shooters to kind of see what else is out there, and not for the purpose of just spending money needlessly, but you might come upon something that works really well. So Frank had recommended this Lucas, and I don't know if he has a business relationship with them. I don't know about any of that, and I don't really care. I only care that the products work well, and I take Frank at his word. So I decided to get some, and it just arrived this past week, and I definitely want to try it. So I'm going to do that today. As I'm doing this, I'm going to use that product, and then go to the range and see how it works. So I just thought I'd start to do this and kind of let you know about the product. I'm not going to bore you with the cleaning of this gun, so I'm just going to kind of do this as I'm talking, and then I'll stop the video and let you guys go back doing something more important than listening to me. But anyway, so I thought I would give this a try, and I bought the big bottle. It wasn't very expensive, as well as the small, I think it's 1 ounce or something. Yeah, 1 ounce needle oiler, because I needed one of those, which is nice, to get to the connector, which is, right there, just right here. And to get that oil down right under that little groove, on the Glock pistol. So anyway, after I go to the range with this gun, which won't be this week, it'll be the following week. This week I'm taking the new 1911 that I have, and because I now have the Dick Heine sight on the rear of that, and I want to go check it out. And I also, I think I told you that I installed the GI style, guide rod in that pistol as well, which I happen to really like. So I'm going to shoot that this week, because when I go to the range, I think unlike a lot of people, I do not shoot a lot of rounds. I usually go to the range with a purpose, and I normally now hardly ever do I shoot more than 50 rounds. It's very unusual for me to shoot more than 50 rounds, and because with just 50 rounds you can get a lot done. And if you have a certain purpose, for whatever the purpose is, I'm talking about correcting, how you hold your gun, or, if you, have a tendency to flinch or whatever, which I do not, but, some people do. It's a good way to try to overcome that by concentrating really on what you're doing. And if you're shooting a relatively small amount of rounds, you can really concentrate on the work at hand, which I am a real believer in. With handguns, because again, as you guys I'm sure are aware, shooting is not a inherent thing that we're born with. It's there's nobody, I think, that really can claim to be a natural shooter. I think everybody has to train and learn how to shoot a gun, and then not only do you need practice, but you need training as well to stay up on that. And I am of the belief that the more experienced you are, the more important it is to train, because I think everybody gets into the habit of you know, you begin to think, well, I know so much, and you start to take shortcuts, and you know, that's when negligent discharges happen, and which are not good, as you can imagine. Um, I'm kind of proud of this, I guess, would be a good word, you know. And now, again, I have weapons training from the military, and there, if you have a negligent discharge, you're gone. There's no messing around in the units that I was in concerning negligent discharges. If your gun goes off and it wasn't in training or in combat, and it was your fault, and you will be immediately removed from a unit. There are no second chances. So I think, you know, as a civilian, and having guns in your hand, you know, guns can be dangerous for sure. They're meant to be. And, you know, I just think that, you know, having as much training as possible and then concentrating when you do practice after the training is what really, you know, really prevents having accidents, because accidents are not good. And as I explained, you know, in the units that I was in, you're gone. There's they don't take kindly to people letting guns go off. There, it's not by accident. It's just strictly negligence, which, you know, you're probably all aware of. So anyway, so I'm going to give the I'm going to turn the video off now, but I'm going to give the Lucas a try. And then after I go shooting with it, you know, it's going to sit around here for about a week and a half. And then after I, you know, go to the range and then take it apart and go and clean it, I'll let you know, you know, how it is. It's supposed to be very sticky, so it'll stay in, you know, one place and, you know, not drift around inside the gun, which is, you know, what you don't want to have happen. So I'm going to turn this off now, and I'll do another video either next week on the 1911 or at least the week after on this pistol with the Lucas Extreme Duty Gun Oil. So have a good day out there, and stay well and safe, folks, and keep looking over your shoulder. Bye-bye.